Hey, what do we have here? So just recently I fell down a, how you doing? I fell down a rabbit hole of Japanese pretty heavy stuff. And then I remembered like a couple of years ago, I checked out 1OK Rock, which I believe someone said is actually 1OK, as if it's making fun of Japanese pronunciation of English. And I was like, oh, well, shit. Like maybe now people would be like, oh, I'll watch this. You never know what people watch. Things come in and out, you know? Not everything can be desirable at the same time, but also because of, it looks like the next couple of months we'll have some Japanese rock and metal every day, probably. I was like, I bet I could learn some Japanese, man. So I didn't get much. I think, man, even if you get like a sentence a day, it's good enough. So, Ego ga. Nope. I should enunciate better. Ego ga wakaremasu ka? You understand English? Sumimasen. That's it. Sumimasen. Ego ga wakaremasu ka? Is that? It's probably, yeah, he's probably, you know, probably-ish. It's probably Japanese-ish. Anyways, I don't remember anything about this band other than them. They seemed, I probably only heard 3 songs ever by them. I remember them being very polished, but it's more like the songs I heard were more of a pop rock style. Don't know what this one is, but it's got like 68 million views. Let's see what's up.
So they say that takes away the pain, while I'm still the same.
Okay, his voice is good. It does seem like a pop structure. I mean, we've only heard 10 seconds, right?
And they say that I'll find another you that can be true. Oh, what didn't I realize?
I like his voice. His voice is like, he's got like, at least at this range, he's singing this higher level pitch wise, but he's not going into that glam rock style. I like this, man. You know, we all went through an emo-ish phase. Not that this is emo, but you know what I mean? Like songs you sing along to because they mean something to you. I'm liking this. And I don't remember if they sang in English. Anyways, I appreciate being able to understand the lyrics.
Why didn't I tell? What didn't I realize? Why didn't I tell I could do it again? Oh, turning back the time when you were mine. Oh, mine. So this is heartache.
Oh, that's a good melody. A little jump up. That's called an appoggiatura. Appoggiatura is when you jump way up and then descend, I think, by a step. Anyways.
So this is heartache.
Oh, and might as well. This never really comes up. If you're gonna do I'm not a good singer, right? But you got to learn things in school. One of the easiest ways to make a melody singable when you're gonna jump a large distance is you look at the phrase, you take the note, like a note before your jump, you take the note and then you descend and then you bounce off the bottom note and fly up. And that's exactly what this melody does. So it's just like, if you look at the 4 notes of the grouping, you have before the jump. So you get the 2 notes before the jump, 2 notes after the jump. So like the regular note descends, fly through the air to the top note, and then descend off of that. That is solid vocal writing to like really enable a vocalist to do the best job they can with the melody.
So this is heartache. So this is heartache.
Oh, also, this was not like any song I heard them play. Everything I heard them play was very much more drums and stuff going on. But it's good.
Oh baby, so this is heartache. So あの日の君の笑顔は思い出に変わる。
Hey! Repeat the vocal melody on the... I don't know which... Is that... You call them chimes? I don't know all my pitched percussion instruments. I don't know, is it glockenspiel? I don't know what it is. Bells? I mean, it doesn't look like a bell, but sometimes they call it bell. Whatever. Oh, and a little variation on the melody. I like this. I like the small details of the composition. I'm really liking. It's keeping it it's keeping it within the style of the music, but it's doing little things to change it, but not make it like, do you know what I mean? Like if you want a certain thing, like I want a chicken sandwich, it's like, okay, you could do it fancy, but I still want a chicken sandwich. So it's like, this is this type of music, this, whatever you want to call it, pop, acoustic pop rock, and they're changing small stuff, but they're still keeping it within that genre. Maybe it's going to, there's 3 minutes left, maybe it's going to change. I don't know. How would I know?
僕の心は唯一満たしてさ君が
Using the previous melody as a counter melody, using fragments of the original melody as a counter melody during this part. I never know what's going to happen in the video.
僕の心に唯一触れられることだ君は Oh baby もういないよないよ Yeah wish that I could do it again Turning back the time
His voice is really, I mean, it's for like what they're doing, it's perfect. Wow.
Back when you were mine, oh mine. So this is heartache, so this is heartache. 埋めた後悔は涙へと変わり
I'm so dumb. I'm so dumb. By the guy playing the pitch percussion, I don't know if he's a drummer or a keyboardist or whatever, but he obviously has knowledge of keys. Otherwise, you can't play that junk. But the hitting of it gives a percussive aspect. It's pitched percussion. So like you get the backing sound of some chordal elements of keyboard playing and the little, counter melodies that are thrown in there. But the actual sound of the mallet striking, they called mallets in this setting, the actual sound of the mallet striking actually does give you a little bit of extra rhythm and percussion in the background. This is a pretty genius, it's just a handful of chords. Like harmonically, it's an extremely simple song, but the orchestration, the arrangement is pretty brilliant.
Oh baby, so this is heartache, so this is heartache 君の笑顔は思い出に変わる I miss you
Oh, he got the box! I used to play with some dudes who got the box, man. That's what we used to do. Actually, our setup looked exactly like that, like jamming, not on stage, but like, cause we weren't all in the same groups or whatever. But yeah, I forgot what the box is called, where it's got like a snare sound on one side and the bass drum sound. Oh, dude, flashbacks.
思い出に変わる I miss you It's so hard to forget その結び目は Yeah So hard to forget 強く弾けば弾くほどけなくなって離れれなくなった今は辛いよそれが辛い
Might as well mention the bass player. There's an old joke about there's a joke about every instrument in a band, right? Because being in a band is ridiculous. A lot of times, if no one mentions your bass playing, that means you did a great job. So like the bass is mixed to where it just really thickens the sound of the guitar, and he's also playing pretty soft with his fingers. There's an attack on your fingers, like in how quickly you move the string will really affect the sound of the bass or guitar or whatever, any stringed instrument. And he's playing with a really delicate pull through and release on the strings, and it's just thickening up the arrangement. Bass player's doing a great job. His job is not to be the center of attention in this particular song, is just to support the entire group, and he's doing an excellent job. And that's probably the only thing I have to say about it, because that's what he's doing. Unless he rips a bass solo out of nowhere.
Oh baby, so this is
also on that, sorry I don't remember the name of it, that box, the percussion box he's playing on, the audio engineer, the mixing guy is treating the bass frequencies of the box much like he's treating the bass frequencies of the bass, right? He's like, if we're gonna keep the bass dialed down in the mix and not let it overpower, then we're also going to dial down the bass frequencies of the box. So the bassiness of the box is very much balanced with the bass of the bass guitar. That's pretty solid attention to detail. A lot of times people will be like, well, if I'm hitting the bassy part of the box, let the bassiness comes through, because it's like representing the kick drum of a bass, of a drum set. And it's like, no. This is a delicate song. If we get too much boom out of the bass and too much boom out of the percussion box, it will pull the listener out of the emotional experience of the song. I mean, if you've never seen me before, something I 100% believe in is that when you are listening to something, you're taking in some type of creation, some type of art, you must judge it in the category it's in, right? Like, I can't judge this like I would judge a rap song or a metal thrash song or a classical symphony. Those are all distinct, different genres. So like in this genre, I think they've absolutely nailed it. And I really think the arrangement and the composition overall, I think, is pretty brilliant. So the guitar didn't really change at all. The bass, I don't think changed as much. I didn't really listen to it that in detail. But the switch from the little chimey stuff, so we had the melody on the chimes. I'm gonna call them chimes, even that's probably what they're called. So the melody on the chimes, then we have melodic fragments on the chimes interspersed between the vocal lines. Then we had the switch to the percussion box. So we had development of the orchestration of the piece. And I think it's pretty important what they didn't do. Like, you could go, well, it's emotional, let's throw a guitar solo in there on the acoustic guitar. Like a little soft little guitar thing. Or let's have the guitar switch up the voicings of the chords. But instead, the guitar player very much was anchoring the very firm foundation of the song. Very much playing the same thing all the time. And then after a minute and a half, bass player comes in, and now the guitarist and the bass player are very much this glue. Which typically, when you think of a bass player, you think of the bass player being glue with the drums. But I think in this context, the bass player was glue with the guitar player, and then the decoration was done by our percussionist. who was on the chimes and then moved to the box. I thought it's a great song. Now, to be honest, the only time I'm gonna listen to this song is if I'm like walking through the woods, and I'm like, nature's so beautiful, and I would listen to this song. Or if something terrible happens to me, and I want a song that I can like, you know, tear up to. Man, I talk a lot. That's on me. That's not on you. That's on me.